New OGs. The New OGs is a State Madison Entertainment production and is brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets them get solar power at no cost. If you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill, you can raise the value of your home, and you can do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of your pocket to do so. In fact, Solar Masters can only work with you if they can save you money. Solar Masters is a Black-owned company, and they're a SunPower dealer. That's an American panel maker with over 30 years of solar experience, and they even have a referral program that pays out as much as $500 per referral. So head over to www.gosolarmasters.com.
Bobby!
Yes, sir.
Bobby!
Yes, sir.
Wait one cotton picking minute.
Hey now, whoa.
That's right, I said cotton picking minute.
Hey now.
You know why I said cotton picking minute? Because today we gonna talk about the motherfucking state of Georgia. And everything you just said to me and to all these people, you just said that these people can save money.
You can save money.
On their electric bill.
Yes.
You said these people could do something good for the world.
They can do something good for the world. Yeah, they can help the environment. Obviously, going solar is a better idea. Yeah.
If they refer anybody else that owns a home and also goes solar, they get $500 every time.
Yeah, even if you don't own a home, you can refer somebody, and if they go solar, you get $500 for every one of those people you submit if they go solar. And that's in Illinois or Florida. Those are the two places they operate in.
Man, that's better than the dream I had of Stacey Abrams pegging Brian Kemp. It was a great dream. That was a really great dream. She was giving it to that nigga like, This is better.
This is better than Stacey Abrams pegging Brian Kemp in a dream you had.
It is.
Well,
I'm not really into it. I was just happy for her.
Well, if you want to try and put together the money to send down a dildo for Stacey Abrams to get to work with, get over to Solar Masters and sign up, refer somebody that you know, or get a free consultation for yourself. Save yourself some money. See if you can contribute some dough into Stacey Abrams Pegging Fund. We are also brought to you by People of Comedy. Get over to People of Comedy on Facebook. People. You can see all of the great shows offered there. Check in daily. We've got new, fresh podcasts. Some of them are live. Some of them are pre-recorded. We do our show live because we're maniacs and we don't believe in an edit button.
Thank God.
We're like, listen, we're three black guys mostly, and we. What canceled from what? You know what I mean? Like, we're three black guys with nothing. What are we gonna do? End up back here when it's all said and done? You know, like. Also, we're right, so
That's it. That's the shit. You cancel me for some shit that I'm right on. I'm standing by it. By it.
I don't think I've said anything on this show where if someone's like, "Oh, you can't work anymore," because then I'd be like, "Well, I didn't say the wrong thing, though."
Hey man, this is the amazing thing about this is, again, I want to give a shout out to California marijuana because this shit is amazing. And as you guys are talking, I was thinking right before we got on, like, damn, I don't know why I'm always so scared of everything in America. I mean, they gave me the worst they could give me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should just enjoy being me at this point.
Well, it's like, I've been, I think we've all had our fair share of fights. And it's like, once you've been punched in the face once, you're like, all right, so that's what a punch in the face is like. I could bear one of them out, but but you're not like, I would like to be punched in the face. It still sucks the next time you get hit in the face. You're like, I could take it, but ow, motherfucker. That's what being in America is. It's like, yeah. I know what being punched in the face feels like, but that doesn't make it chill.
Right. Just because I can take it don't mean I should always have to.
No, I'm not looking for them. I don't want them.
You know what the fucked up thing is? The face punches are like, you seem to take that pretty fine. Like, you're complaining a bit much, but you kind of took that punch. So you kind of think you could take a few more.
Yeah, what about one in the gut? Can you take one in the gut? That's what the face punchers think.
That's exactly how they move the shit around. Like, how about this? What do you say we just kick you in the nuts? Huh? One time. Just kick you in the nuts one time.
One time, man, I was coming out of a hood-ass store. So it was a blind spot. It was like a doorway in the store that nobody could see you come out. And I stepped off onto the sidewalk, and this guy runs into me with his bike. Bang! So I grabbed the bike and I'm just standing there, and the dude had flipped over and fell, and I'm holding the bike, and he looking up at me like, oh my God. And I'm trying to figure out why he's so scared.
Nigga, you hit me.
Right. I'm like, dude, I mean, I'm not mad. I'm just startled.
Right. This is my natural reaction to. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's an all right analogy for what it feels like being in this country. Sometimes we're just like, well, how about we don't hit you in the face today? We kick you in the teeth. How about we trip you? What if we trip you? That way we're not actually punching you. We're just kind of like slowing down your progress a little bit.
I'm gonna tease this even out a little bit further with Rob's story, because not only do they fucking hit us out of nowhere, but then when we react to getting hit, they get scared. They're like, why? Why? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Like, motherfucker, stop hitting me! And then you want to be scared.
Yeah. And they're just like, well, people get hit by bikes all the time. You're like, right.
Oh, by the way, for anybody who's new to the show or maybe just don't like, what are the guys talking about? We talking about white people.
Well, we're talking about the current.
We talking about racist white people. Let me be clear.
Country, which is
we talk about racist white people, not all white people. We got some good.
It's funny.
I always have to say that. You every time. You can never not.
But James is on the show. I don't want to be shitting on James.
No. I'm not talking about
listening to the whole show.
I'll be okay.
James is Chinese. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Time out. I'm not saying that you personally always have to say that.
Okay.
All of blackness. Every time we talk about racism, we gotta let all white folks know. Okay, 3 or 4 of you motherfuckers are okay, but them motherfuckers that's behind you ain't shit. You know?
It's definitely 100% single digits, but it's
I've seen some recent posts actually lately by women explaining the concept of why, like, saying not all men are being like, but not being a guy and being like, but not me is why that's such a silly thing. And they just explain in terms of if there's enough of a bad experience, and also like it doesn't necessarily mean you specifically, but like the general, like if you can have me, I'm part of the male population, right? Women being naturally afraid of what men might do to them is not a thing that offends me at all, because I'm personally not doing shit. But I also understand, because I'm also a black man in America who has been in situations where I'm like, well, so far the history of white and black interaction in this country has not been great in the end. And so don't mind me if I approach a situation with a slight bit of caution. And that is not an attack on that white person who may not have any ill intent, but like, that's the reality of the thing. Like, you ever see those videos where you see an animal that has no right being next to an alligator and the alligator ain't really done shit yet? Well, like, sure. But like, how is that motherfucker supposed to know that the alligator is just going to turn around and chomp the shit out of it? Because so far the natural instincts of society have deemed that's how it works, right? And so like, that's not a knock on that other individual. Just like as a man, I don't feel personally insulted when a woman goes, all, men rape. And it's like
I always
rape.
I always thought it was a very curious thing. Like, there's a phrase I say all the time: the stuck pig squeals. And it's just like Tucker Carlson when Joe Biden was saying we got to stop white supremacy and stop racists, and then he's like, he's coming for you, he's coming for us. Nigga, he didn't say that. He said stop white supremacy.
No, he did say that. If you know Tucker Carlson, that is exactly what he was saying.
Exactly, that's my point. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like the fact that you took it so personally is very telling. Like, I'd never take that shit personally. I got a bunch of sisters, but that has nothing to do with the reason I treat women the way I treat women. I treat women the way I treat women because my mother raised me not in a right way. She raised me to be terrified in most situations alone with women. Like, if she's not trying to tear your clothes off, then maybe you shouldn't be trying to tear hers off, because you're a big motherfucker and you're black, and that shit's never going to end out well for you. Plus, back when I was younger and I played sports, she experienced my dad, who's a basketball player as well, very good basketball player as well. She experienced like groupies and shit with him. So she knew how women were going to come at me. And so she was like preparing me constantly, like, always, have some witnesses, let everybody know, and stuff like that. So that's why I always feel safe. Like, some people like, they're going to come for me next, man. When I talk about y'all going to cancel me, y'all be joking. Ain't nobody coming for me.
Hey, man, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not concerned.
Every part of this conversation, it always intersects at the same place. And I know it's going to sound obvious, but I'm just saying, take every line you just pulled and see where it comes from. And that is white supremacy. Like we are trained in this country to behave a certain way because we don't want to get fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I just do not want to deal with you motherfuckers because I know I'm had to hurt somebody. So I just rather just don't even get your attention. Just go on, do what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, Bobby, that master bedroom thing. I'm gonna let the audience know what I'm talking about. But did you Google it or something? It's not. It doesn't come from that.
No, that's hundreds of years before like American slavery and that shit was going on. They called because it's more about masculinity. The master bedroom is where the master of the house stays, and that was usually a man. And so it's actually an older reference to patriarchy that became a part of slavery. Sarah Silverman was talking about on her show about.
I ain't got to call my bedroom daddy's bed. No, damn.
Sarah Silverman was doing a podcast where she was talking about on her show where a friend had texted her he was high and it was like, you know, is master bedroom problematic? And she was talking about how easy it is to just decide to stop saying some shit that you've maybe realized may not be awesome, which is, you know, that's real shit. So
that's also something it's also something weird to me how people have such a huge problem with changing a little bit of vocabulary. Like it's a very weird thing. Like everybody I know has a nickname. Like you might not call them by that nickname, but there's somebody somewhere that calls them some shit that ain't what they mama call them.
Absolutely.
Or they mama call them some shit that don't nobody else call them.
That's goddamn right.
And you like my point is saying is like you used to call somebody Gary, now you call him G Money because he got drunk in Vegas and paid too much for a hooker. Something like that. And he's G Money. You changed your language. It's real easy to do. It's
actually,
just like
are you unwrapping something over there?
Oh shit, I'm sorry. I'm doing it right now. I apologize. The headsets I have are noise canceling, so I can't hear what I'm doing. And I was literally doing it right in front of the microphone.
I was gonna say right at the microphone. I could see you had that water bottle there.
Yeah, I apologize. Sorry about that.
How was your week, man? How you doing? I know you well, we all got the vaccine, so we're all struggling to get ourselves back on track, right?
I had an interesting week because I had three major events. I got the vaccine, and I am fine. I am a person that is almost never sick. I've had food poisoning a couple times in the last 8 years, I think, and I got the flu one time when my kid was like 7. And then other than that, I don't think I've been sick since sometime in the 90s. That's not a brag. That's just I don't get sick.
Yeah.
Right. And I got the shot on Monday, and I was fine. Like I was groovy. And then last night, 3 days later, I don't know if it's because my ass is so big or what, but
the water down X.
Damn it! I'm just trying to do it quietly. All right, I'm done. I'm done.
You can't hold that shit quietly, dog. That's
I woke up last night. I woke up last night looking like I was. Remember that dance move in Breaking where the dude would get on the floor and just kind of shake around like a vibrator or something like that. Like I was like a giant human vibrator, dude. Dude,
I totally forgot about that move, man.
Yeah. I was like, I just woke up like that. Like my whole body was actually pretty violent, man. It was like, I was scared for a minute. I was like, they got me. God damn it, they got me. The hotels was right. These niggas got me. Ah! Like, oh man, all the regrets. I almost made like a Facebook post like, don't take this shit. Niggas don't take this shit. They got me. But then I couldn't sleep most of the night. My arm, this was what was really weird about this shit. My arm hadn't been sore since the shot. Like it felt like I got a shot in it, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't sore. Like I had full range of motion, everything, right? Last night, the shit all of a sudden sore as fuck. It's throbbing. Like 3 days later, it was weird, but I'm fine now. Like I'm,
you're a big dude, man. It may have been taking your body that long to get them antibodies.
I'm kind of
like your white blood cells are just like, we trying, nigga. We need you to lay down for a minute.
I need you to slow down, fam. I need you to slow down. I got black blood cells. Like why the fuck would I have white blood cells, nigga? I'm black. My blood cells is thugs. Hey Joe, we don't play that corona shit, nigga. No COVID, my nigga. Get the fuck up out of here. That was my blood cells, dude. I don't even got a bunch of them motherfuckers. I got like 6 or 7 big niggas like me cover the whole body. Just big ass blood cells fucking up, squeezing their way through my arteries and shit
right there. Why would I have white blood cells? Holy shit.
Hey, I got like 4 hours of sleep in the last 2 days. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I got the shot on Tuesday, and It felt like a shot. I mean, you know, like I posted about it. I had to get shots every week for allergies when I was a kid. It didn't feel any different than that when I first got it. I took steroids in my 20s. That shit was way more difficult to take because the oil that they suspend steroids in is thicker. And so you have to use, you know, the gauging has to be different. You can't, it's not even the same gauge of needle that you're using.
That should look like a horse needle.
Yeah, I put some giant shit into my arm and into my ass, man. And so like, and you got to go slow. Like you got to sit there and like go real slow or else you'll get a fucking abscess and you got to rub shit. It's like way different. This shit, the lady was like, hi, I'm a third year med student at blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, cool. And that was it. Like I was like,
dude, like the dude that did it so fast that I was like, when he put the thing down, I was like, that don't seem sanitary. Cause he did it. And the needle, you know, he was about to throw it away, but he like sat it on the thing to write something down. And like I didn't know he had got me. I thought he was like, you know, okay, I'm gonna do it right there. But before I do it, let me write this. You know, nigga might have been asleep. So I was like, you done? He's like, yeah. I was like, I didn't even feel it. I didn't feel it at all until
I got home and I was fine and like it was a little sore in the spot where I got the shot, but like that's just shot shit. Like it wasn't like I couldn't function. I was still doing shit and like so the only thing that's really come out of it that I can pinpoint to that. And it's so hard to tell because like I did that. There's a thing called V-Safe that you can sign up for where they can track like, you know, they ask you if you're feeling any symptoms and shit like that. And then they kind of can share data with you. Like here's how many people are having problems and here's how people are feeling afterwards. And like one of the questions.
Wish I would have had that last night, but okay.
So like one of the questions that they're asking though is like, do you feel like fatigue or lethargic? And I'm like, I've been sitting in this house for over a year. I couldn't tell you whether it's the shot that's making me feel like I'm this lazy or whether it's the fact that I've been cooped up in this motherfucking joint for a year, man. Like, I feel fatigued for sure, but I felt fatigued for months now. Like, how am I supposed to tell you which level of fatigue I'm at, man?
There's also that bomb-ass weed I gave you. That could be it, too.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, also that did not slow down, right? Like, also I'm just like, yeah, I'm kind of tired all the time. That's kind of the deal.
Nigga, that's my brand.
Yeah, my brand is sleepy, goddammit. You see how heavy these eyelids are? This is no joke. Well, Rob, how's it been for you, man?
I got the shot in Koreatown. And I had a white dude with me taping it. So I go amongst all these Asian people and they beating up Asians.
So Kobe Jones?
Kobe
Jones?
No,
Kobe Jones got a shot?
It wasn't even on that, but that's hilarious. It wasn't even, but we was taping it to just put it out. And so when I walked up, Jack was taping and Jack goes, I don't think they're going to care much for us out here taping. And as I walked up, the lady was like, oh, no, like she didn't really want to be taped. And she couldn't see that I wasn't angry because I got on a mask and shit. So half of the interaction is fucked up already. So but everybody was cool. And then I sat down and the lady explained every ounce of this shit to me unnecessarily. You know what I'm saying? She's like, okay, I'll put it in your arm. Okay, I'm pushing it. Like, it was like looking at the computer screen when it's trying to figure out what it's supposed to be doing.
Where the ball is just spinning and you just like 45%, 48%, 95%, 95.2%.
I for real think I feel like she was talking herself through it. That's what it sounded like. Like she was like, "Okay, I put it in his arm, I push it, and I push it, and Hey.
But I feel generally I feel okay. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel any of the other side effects you're talking about that you might feel. I don't feel none of that shit. Other than
good.
Just,
I'm happy.
Yeah, man. I didn't get any side effects other than my arm was a little tender.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I didn't really have any.
That's fine now. It doesn't. Yeah. I couldn't even tell you where I got it now over here. I have no idea. So if you can get it, go get it. Because I found this when I was looking at some of the shit about what's been going on with the vaccine and anti-vax people, and I found this thing that came out that was saying that there are only 12 people. There's only 12 people on the planet who are responsible for 65% of the anti-vaccine disinformation. Period.
Wow.
12 people.
Like those 12 people originated.
There are watchdog groups that like call them the disinformation dozen. Actually, they account for 73% of all anti-vaxxer content posted or shared.
Wait, Bobby. Let me
Facebook
understand
alone.
this. I'm sorry for interrupting. Let me say. So we only got to kill 12 motherfuckers.
I mean,
one of the motherfuckers is Q.
In the last 2 months on Facebook, they've been responsible for 73% of the vaccine disinformation that's been going on. It's all coming from 12 people. It's crazy. I'm not going to name them all because I just don't feel like that's a thing I want to do. I don't want to give their names much more publicity. But, I think it's important to kind of recognize, one, what a crazy level of impact, right? Like to have 12 people push out the information that warps people that you and I have, we've all talked to.
Are these 12 people, are they like a conglomerate? Like, are they like a group that, I don't know the word I want to say, but like a group that is meeting together to do this nefarious shit? Or is it just 12 people?
No, it's not a conspiracy.
Wow.
It's not a conspiracy.
It's just 12 like minds that have connected and made this much.
They're not. I mean, now I don't know if they have. There's nothing that's claiming that they've gotten together to like plot anything. They all have their own shit. Like one of them is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who I think he was at one point. That's one of the Kennedy kids.
He was the civil rights.
Oh wait, really? He's one of the Kennedy kids, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I wonder who his dad is.
Hey man, there's a Kennedy down in Louisiana who ain't one of them Kennedy people, and he got one of them Kennedy ass names too. So that's why I like to clarify, because it's not like Kennedy is a name that like only goes to one family. You know what I mean?
Dude, how much must it suck that you to be a Kennedy and not to be a Kennedy? That would, oh my God.
I know.
What do you mean? That's the best shit ever, because then you ain't got to talk to people and you still got money.
So like he's a big name, but there's another guy who is a big alternative medicine provider. He sells like treatments and dietary supplements, and so he's got a multi-million-dollar business doing that. So of course his whole gimmick is that. So it's like they're not, it's like people who have and now there may be a couple people who may be squatted up, right? There may be 2 or 3 people who are like, yeah, we push this because it helps our version of business grow. But like overall, it's just people who have their own. And I think that's what the reality is about a lot of conspiracy theory shit that's out there. It's like there's just a lot of people who have hundreds of millions of dollars and the ability to try and push an angle. It's not necessarily there's the conspiracy for, to keep healthcare away. Some of that is conspiratorial, but some of that is just like, a bunch of individual businesses who are trying to make sure they can keep running the current scam they got going on. And that scam don't work if the government's covering healthcare, right?
The most fucked up thing about it politically, the real driver for it is white folks just don't want black folks to have shit.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that's one of the drivers for it. But there's also a thing where like, I
mean, obviously there's companies that have
the corporate style of it of being able to handcuff somebody to a job through their health insurance is a big deal. That's like the corporate press on preventing healthcare that way is that they pitch it as it's a benefit we're able to offer our employees, as opposed to it's a handcuff that
dumbest shit ever. There were some union people who were saying this, but they backed off of it towards the last election. But unions saying it's something we collective bargain for, because if it gets taken care of by the government and you don't have to collective bargain, that means the company has more money to pay you and other shit. Like, why the fuck would you? If that gets taken off the table, that's a benefit to you. That's not a negative.
Right. You can go fight about something else instead.
That's a really, really dumb fucking argument. We collective bargain for this. All right. Well, now it's free, nigga. So collective bargain for most shit.
Right. There's a whole what's next on the list?
I'm sure there's some other shit you wanted that you didn't get because of healthcare. That they told you that they couldn't do because they had to pay for healthcare. There's a bunch of shit that they told you. I know this. For a fact, I'm very excited about this, but my mother for years was a union steward and actually was involved in union management, contract negotiations and shit like that. And every time the companies take something away, they blame healthcare costs. That was like the number one thing, healthcare costs and pension, which are both bullshit every time. Every single time it's bullshit.
Here's the thing. There's two things that I want to. The first thing I want to put out there is that I was once a union organizer. I mean, I was me and another dude built a team, and all of us tried to get a new union at the jail. And it's hard as hell to get an election for a union because the union that's already entrenched in don't want to move. So they make it hard. And then that's when you find out that sometimes the union is in bed with management. Because they have to do things to make the shit work for both sides. But in any event, what I think we're making the flaw in the way we're looking at this, because I know that what you're saying, X, and what you're saying, Bobby, is exactly the truth, is that if you do it this way, it's better for everybody. But again, when you deal with the Head Start, it doesn't matter what you do. It's going to always be better for them. And so what they want to do is continue to portray the situation as a situation where you don't have any choice. Right? So like when you go to work and you get these benefits, man, I got these kids and shit. I can't leave this shit, but I hate these people. And you can't go nowhere. And all of that is based on what it's all of capitalism is based on. And
shit, they done moved it away from that to the point when you look at the gig work, they've changed the game that they ain't even got to do that shit no more. Mm-hmm. Like they just look, nigga, we gave you a check. That's it. That's our entire exchange. We gave you a check and some thumbs ups. You know what I'm saying?
We have now had, so we've had our second major nationwide mass shooting in like a week. Although, to be clear, mass shootings never stopped, right? Like, it's new because they're back to killing like white people in grocery stores and shit like that. But like, you know, they've been the 10 people killed at a party on the South Side has been going on for, you know, since pre-pandemic, right? Like that's just been going on.
Damn.
You know, they've now gotten to I've seen like multiple stories now start coming out where they've been arresting people who've got guns on them in a couple places now. Somebody who was I think working for DoorDash or somebody went to the bathroom at the restaurant they were in and heard somebody like in the stall next to him like it's making noise that sound like metal shit getting put, and they got caught with like 6 guns and an AR-15 in Atlanta again.
They were about to jump it off and they just
who knows? Caught. I mean, who the fuck knows? The crazy thing about the fact that like these shootings happen and living in a place where open carry is allowed is like, how the fuck would you know, right? Like if you see a guy in front of you in a place that's open carry with an AR-15 on his back, like, how do you know whether he's just getting him a griddle or whether he's about to go buck wild on the spot?
The open carry shit is bullshit. Like, I can understand concealed carry if you want to carry a handgun with you for personal protection because you feel like you need it. That's literally what the Second Amendment is for. I mean, whatever. Cool. Do that. But that open carry shit, that is nothing but there's no reason to open carry other than to intimidate people. There's no evidence. There's like zero evidence. Like, sure, somebody will pop some anecdotal shit of like the one time somebody shot back and got him. But the numbers, like, it's literally the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Generals. All right? The motherfuckers shooting back are the Generals, and them niggas ain't winning no game. Okay? Them niggas getting beat every rip. This might get Colorado. A cop was one of the first niggas that got popped. Like, that's a cop.
The thing with AR-15s has been a lot of turmoil for people because there are other guns that are like the AR-15. It's not like if you ban the AR-15, there aren't other available guns people could get that could do the same damage, right? Like, you know, you can look in any, you can go online and Google guns like AR-15 and see what's for sale. There's probably some shit that's even cheaper than AR-15s. You can get to do the same type of shit with the same bullets and the same, but like, for sure, it's almost always an AR-15 right now.
The reason that an AR-15 does what it does in the manner in which it does it is two things. One, it's a really small caliber bullet compared to other bullets. So in essence, it is a 22 round with enough propellant to push it further and faster than anything anybody else was using before that, right? This shit was legendary in that. Not only does it have a lot of power and it's going really fast because it's not that big, right? Not only does it have a lot of power, but it doesn't have any recoil based on how you set it up. You see what I'm saying? So you are pushing the maximum amount of energy down the tube so that when it hits you, it is going to burst shit. You understand? It is going to fuck you up greatly. So that's why you don't have to be all that great of a shot to kill with it.
That's where, and I'm so glad we got a gun expert on the motherfucking show. This is I love this shit. I totally forgot you were a gun. Like, as soon as you started talking, I was like, oh, that's right, Rob is a gun expert. Right? Like, literally a gun expert. I'm so happy you're on the show because I believe you can, tell me if I'm wrong. I'll take it if I'm wrong. But motherfuckers who say they hunt with AR-15s, if you hunt with an AR-15, and you're not hunting grizzly bear, you just a pussy, right? You just a shitty shot.
You ain't got, listen, you don't really need that to hunt. You do
there's
not.
No way there's no sport in
thing
that.
is going to obliterate whatever it hits. So I mean, hey man, there are probably larger animals that you could shoot with that weapon and still eat the meat. Like you could probably hit a deer with it.
It's more of a war weapon though, right? It's more of a war weapon
That's
than a
exactly
hunting weapon.
What it is to maximize death.
Right.
If you hit a buck with a AR-15, you are ruining the entire point of what deer hunting is supposed to be about. Because it's going to leave a big ass gash in that thing wherever it hits it at. Yeah. And most people shoot for the neck. So if you shoot for the neck or the heart, that's going to fuck up your trophy.
Other than trying to slaughter some shit, like I had somebody who was in Texas who was talking about it's good for shooting feral hogs, and it's like for like decimating them, I guess, but like. But not for any real. But like, there's other things you could do that.
And how is that? And is a pistol not? Will a pistol not take down a feral hog?
I mean, the ability of a semi-automatic with that type of a clip to be able to just like continuously blast into hogs.
How many fucking feral hogs are there? Are they literally coming
in Texas? It's a thing.
Oh, like, it's a thing like they're coming like 40 deep.
You can, there's like, haven't you ever seen, what's his face? Was it D. Snyder? No, it's not D. Snyder. There's that, fuck, man. There's an old rocker dude who is super right wing. Yeah, the Trump guy who used
Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent. He used to get him in his helicopter and he'd shoot feral hogs from his helicopter with a fucking big machine gun. That was there's like Hogzilla was this, or Hog something he used to do where you'd go out there and like.
See that? How is that? That's just a fucked up mentality.
Oh yeah, it's just a fucked up head. Yeah, no, I'm not saying this is a good idea. I'm just saying like this was a thing that somebody had tried to bring up to me as like an idea of what they're for.
Like my whole thing is there's video games for that.
So here's my whole thing.
Like you want to shoot like that? There's video games for that.
I don't think any of us are like pro banning and confiscating guns, are we?
No, I'm a fan of guns. I'm not like guns.
I think they're like fun to shoot. I know they're made for the purpose of murdering and hunting or whatever, but like shooting guns is fun. They're really fucking fun to shoot. Not gonna lie. And also like
super fun.
And I am a big believer in the idea of like as long as like cops get guns and criminals can get guns, like
why should I want to have a gun without shit?
I should be able to get a gun. I don't think we do a good enough job, of tracking like sales and where guns are at all times. Like the private sale shit should just be like, I'm sorry, this just happens to be a thing that you can't sell privately. You have to go through like a broker that will know exactly at the sale transaction. Like that thing where like you can just sell a murder weapon to someone and nobody.
The concept that you can sell a gun privately is fucking ludicrous. It makes no sense. I legally can't sell you a fifth of Douce. Right. Like if I buy some Douce and I'm like, oh man, you want this shit? Give me $40. That's against the fucking law. And but I can sell you my pistol? That's insane. They choked out, I don't even have to track it.
They choked out Eric Garner for selling Lucy's, right?
Yep.
But you can sell a Desert Eagle on the sly in Indiana and nobody can say shit to you. Is that the going on?
In Indiana,
no tax, goddammit.
In Indiana, I can go to a gun store. I can go to a gun store with my friend. Right? I'm not a resident of Indiana. In Indiana, all you need is a state ID. There's no FOID card or anything like that. I can go to the gun store with my friend. He pay for the gun. We walk out to the parking lot and I go, hey man, you know what? I really like that gun. I'll give you an extra $50 for it. And he goes, okay. And I pay him cash right then. Nothing illegal has happened.
That seems like a loose way to deal with something that can cause so much damage. Especially when the history is like, it has obviously been causing damage, right? So like the other thing too is, and I think-
Wait, Bobby, I just want to make one other quick point about this. Not only did nothing illegal happen, there's no transaction record and nobody has to report anything. Legally, the last owner of the gun was the dude who bought it in that store. And if I go and sell it 3 or 4 more times, he can just say, "Oh, I lost it," or "It got stolen."
So I think,
and he never had to report it.
So I think it's
That's
fair
insane.
to say, like, we don't want to see guns banned. We're open to seeing a lot more like knowledge of where they are and restriction. But I think the thing that we always kind of skip out on here, and I think the way that like people that have problems with guns miss the boat and what they're trying to fight for, is that they don't like. There's all these arguments, like when you bring up, well, we got to stop the AR-15, and people are like, well, people that know guns are like, well, you can get guns that are close enough to AR-15. Like, it's like, what is it about the gun? And I think we approach that the wrong way, when the real issue is like people shoot people because they're miserable and they feel like shooting somebody else or themselves, which is where a lot of gun violence comes from, is the only thing or the only shot they have to try and do anything. It's the easiest. It's the only route they feel they have. That is why you have old men who commit suicide, because the bills are piling up and they don't have somebody to help them, and their work options have dried out. That's why old men commit suicide. Women who get killed, oftentimes victims of violence because they're dealing with a boyfriend or a husband who's a piece of shit. Youth groups and gangs that shoot each other over what is essentially black market shit. And so, like, we can, the idea that we're ever going to convince the South to give up guns or whatever, or like white people in general to give, is like out of the question, right? Like, that's probably not going to happen. So what we should be trying to attack more is these problems that are causing people to shoot each other. The issue is that, and it's a continued issue in this country, is that nobody wants to take responsibility for fixing any part of anything. Right? Like, the easiest thing to do would be just ban all guns and take them all away, and then we don't help nobody, and then everybody still goes crazy, right? Like, or you could do the easy thing, which is create more programs and like, if we had universal health care, old men who didn't have health care and were getting sick wouldn't commit suicide to avoid like falling into despair medically. Right? Yeah. People who commit suicide over money problems, bankruptcy, people who beat their spouses over the fact that like they're disappointed in themselves as adults because they're not making it and they can't do something, like, all that goes away if you can just help people with some healthcare and making sure they're whole. But if you
all around healthcare,
but the same people that fight against gun legislation are the same people that don't want to put in any services for anybody, and you can't have it both ways.
That's a really weird. I mean, I understand the idea of shrinking government in places you can, but that's a really weird thing that Republicans consider a win. Is that Reagan got rid of all of the mental health institutions that the state sponsored, the federally sponsored,
and now they're going to blame that for a reason that people are shooting each other.
Well, right, yeah, I mean,
there is something to that.
I'm saying, like, but dig this. I'm not saying that there's, but you created the problem,
right?
Oh, okay,
yeah. You can't say that that's we got to do something about this. You the one, stop doing something about it.
What?
But for me, every time I think of it, I always come to the same conclusion that this shit started with slavery. So even white people who don't really realize they kind of indentured, you dig? They kind of indentured too. They don't even realize it, and they are quick to defend this very bullshit that subdues them. And they know, and man, dude, these people know it, and that's why they don't ever have to have a good reason. It just need to be a reason, and they use it every time.
Well, the concept of like this whole like this crazy Second Amendment thing, these people that fall on the conservative viewpoint that are like big on the Second Amendment thing, that is like, and they're all, you hear these people talk about, since the writing of the Constitution, the right of the people to bear arms is the thing. Like, if you actually look back in the history of when people first started yelling about their right to bear arms, it was during the Civil Rights era. No, it was only about 70 years ago. It was Reconstruction. But there wasn't a fight over bearing arms then. There wasn't a thing where the citizens were having some big argument over whether you could keep a gun or not. That was not a big thing.
No, you know what? Because they never questioned them. They never questioned them.
That's what I'm saying, though, is like it wasn't until the 50s when all of this thing, like this combination of conservative thought process and this like the version that we see now, the NRA version of this, like, it is your God-given right to be able to own a gun that's only 70 years old. That is like in 1850, nobody was talking like that. Nobody, it was just like, yeah, so people got guns. Nobody's mass shooting was the thing. You know what I mean? Like the fear of black people actually ascending to a level of power was not as big of a concern then. It was way easier to put down until you got into the 50s. And then all of a sudden, this combination of we've got to defend our homes now because they've got rights and can live anywhere they want to. So we've got to have a gun in our home because those thugs are moving in, as well as a distrust for the government giving them power, right? So like you have these combinations of things.
I really don't.
This is research.
Between this, I mean, and I'm not arguing the research, but I'm saying I'm saying me personally, I don't see the difference between that and the rise of the American nation or whatever the hell. What was that horrible movie they made?
1919. Birth of a Nation.
Birth of a Nation. Rise of the American Nation was the name of my history book.
Wow. Damn. That brain cell just popped up out of nowhere like, I got something to say.
I'm just saying the history of this whole like this NRA style, like, you know, everybody should have guns and give the teachers guns and give the dog walker a gun and give it, like, that shit is way recent. That shit is like that is a more recent mentality. People just used to have guns and nobody really thought much of it back in the day. And in the South, people carried them and I'm telling you, in 1880 and shit, like nobody gave a fuck, man. They were still settling the Wild West back then. Motherfuckers were still riding around on horses in 1870. Like for sure, everybody just like the arguments over the right to bear arms was not an argument. It wasn't until around the 50s when that shit really set in, where there was like a real like, hey man, maybe some of y'all shouldn't have guns. And this whole thing of like, no, it's our right. The concept of like being a well-regulated militia was still a real thing up until around then. And then after that part just kind of drifted out of the conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
But yeah, it's not getting into all the minutia of the shit. It all. I think what you're saying, Rob, the idea of the racist backbone of it was originated back in Reconstruction, but literally the language that they're talking about as far as the right to bear arms and shit is what Bobby's saying is more recent.
Yeah, I mean, they were always for it. There was just less of an argument about it until about they didn't have to dig. They didn't have to dig into it and make it like now it's like now that whole Second Amendment thing is a part of their representative platform, right? Like if you hear somebody say I'm a big Second Amendment fan, what do you think? Oh, that's a Republican.
All the time, every time, 100%. There's no big. There are Democrats that get A ratings from the NRA because they happen to live in, a state where, they got
Joe Manchin's probably chill with the NRA.
Oh, he's definitely A+. He's
walking around with campaigns with rifles shooting shit.
Hey man,
pow pow! I'm a white.
Oh my god, I hate Joe Manchin. And the only thing that sucks about Joe Manchin, more so than just Joe Manchin, is that even if he died, we just go get a Republican to replace him. It's highly unlikely a Democrat.
Well, that's why the key is to go get some people in some other states to get it done. Namely, Georgia would be the next state I'd like to see get something done in. We're going to talk about this suppression bill that got signed in Georgia, but I'd like to first talk about the good news part of it, which is Dominion Voting Systems is suing Fox News for 1.6 billion, which I think is the same number they've been suing everybody for. I think everybody's getting the $1.6 billion suit.
I thought everybody else was 1.3 because I was like,
maybe
they added.
They gave Sidney Powell a 1.3. I think they hit the pillow guy.
Person. You give a 0.3 discount. Come on, man. Don't be
I'm excited to see when Fox News has to once again state that no one is supposed to take them seriously and they're strictly for entertainment. That's what I'm looking forward to, because that's the only way. That's been the excuse for every one of these people.
Oh my god!
Every one of these people is Tucker Carlson, Sidney Powell.
Sidney Powell tried to use that shit. Bitch, you was representing the president in court. What the fuck you mean nobody's supposed to take you seriously?
That was incredibly funny when she said, "Oh, only somebody stupid will believe the shit that I say," and that was her defense in court. Like, where the people write it down.
You're an attorney. Your whole job is to be serious. It's to be like, it's to show and be like, no, this is exactly like I believe in all the shit we're bringing to you right now. That's the
dude. But I'm saying like that is just simply amazing that was her logic in the open court. And then you said it. See, that's the thing. This is why the ignorance feeds into itself. I was watching this dude on this podcast say something about how it wasn't nobody black beating up Asians. and they just saying that just to make us look bad. No, it's not that, man. And then they were saying, and then at one point he was like, "And there ain't no Asians getting beat up." I'm like, "Oh my God!" And they wanted me to be on this podcast. I'm like, I don't think them 7 people are worth me ever. Because here's the thing: just because you don't see it happening doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And when you openly put yourself against information that is true, then you'll never know shit. Yes, you don't see it because you just admitted that you don't watch the news.
Right.
You just admitted that all of the news is lying to you all of the time. Now, I'm not going to say that the news ain't lying some of the time because, sometimes they want to try to get you to think a certain thing. But at the same time, it's all in the facts. You can see it. Like they go to the place where the shit is happening and they ask people who it happened to. What happened? It is happening. It's real.
It's at least
hey, man, it's those motherfuckers that'll tell you that those are crisis actors.
It's at least an opportunity to like get a jump off point to go look some shit up for yourself. You know what I mean? Like the news is definitely something you can see and be like, all right, well, let me go see if what they're talking about is real. Let me go run this up against some other shit and see if they let me see if I can form a viewpoint based off of this shit.
Real quick point, Bobby, because this is what I did the other day. I watched Rachel Maddow religiously because that chick does the research. And so she was talking about the median, not income, but wealth.
Net worth. No, yeah.
The median net worth of white people in Boston is $247,000. The median net worth of Black people and people of color, $8 fucking. I went and Googled that shit. I'm like, this bitch gotta have that wrong. And when I Googled it, I swear to God, you know what came up? This is not a misprint. $8.
You know, it's so weird. Like I don't know about you guys, but it feels odd. And we've talked about this a little bit, but it feels odd to live in a place where it feels, I mean, there's 253 bills in 43 states right now to try and suppress the vote of people who in some major cities, their worth is $8 versus $250,000. Yeah. It is weird sometimes to live in a place where it feels like, and seems to be that people are trying to cheat you so hard when you still already don't have anything. It's a weird place to be because it's like, you know, and then you get back to that thing where you're like, you know, and then you wonder why Rob is like, why do you say not all white people are racist? Why you got to clarify? You might as well say white people are racist. Let them fucking sort it out. You know what I mean? It's like $250,000 to 8, nigga. Let y'all, yeah, white people racist. Y'all deal with that statement. That's not for me to fucking.
Somewhere in that $240,000, it's some racism, nigga. No, but so check it out. I'm reading an amazing book. I can't think of the author's name right now, but it's called The Sum of Us. And the short of it is the book constantly comes back to this theme that white people are under the impression that if Black people do better, that somehow they got to do worse. They have a zero-sum game idea about racial issues. They think if we do financially better, then that means that 247 is going to come down, right? Well, there is a little bit of truth to that because the more people who do better, the value of $247 goes down. So there is some truth to that. However, the way our hybrid fucking capitalist system, which I'm not going to get into the whole thing about, we have a way of suppressing inflation and we can make it happen that people could have that money and be able to buy the goods. The way the system is set up now, goods are plentiful. There are not, there's not clogs in the supply chain, you know, hold the Suez Canal for right now.
Right. But dude, people are going around the Cape of Horn for that shit right now because they can't get through the canal.
Dude. Trevor Noah had the best fucking. He's like, I bet people are looking at their ship navigation like ways like, what do you mean go around Africa? I'm not going around Africa. Pull it up on Google Maps. There's got to be another way. Like,
well, it's a multi-tiered problem, right? Because like. You know, along with that, they have spent so long trying to inflict the idea that things like unionizing or ending segregation and allowing an intermixing of races leads to socialism. That is a big point they push, and they've pushed so hard in this country about the idea of capitalism being the only way to people who don't even really know what it is and who are also being victimized by it, including white people.
And
right?
don't understand. That's the point. That's why I'm plugging that book. The Sum of Us. The biggest thing, other big point of that book, that the other big takeaway from this book is that she says at the beginning, the reason why we can't have nice things is because white people believe it's a zero-sum game. If we do better, they're not going to be doing as well. Because they operate under that theory, none of us are doing better. Like, yes, there are white people at the top who are doing fucking fantastic. And the median wealth of white people is superior to every other group of people of color.
Is that by Whitney Phillips?
No.
It's not called This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things?
No. That's just a thing she says. I think it's called The Sum of Us.
Okay.
It's by a sister whose name I just can't remember right now, but she's an excellent writer. Very good book. But it comes to like the reason why we can't have universal health care is because white people don't want black people to have universal fucking health care because they think that somehow it's gonna hurt them. And like so there's people in fucking West Virginia and Kentucky and Alabama who are fucking struggling, dirt fucking poor. They're below that $8 Boston family by a lot.
White people don't want black people to have health care so bad that they are willing to have some white people not get health care for it.
They're willing to have, like, most of the white people, like,
right.
there's 250 million, wait, no, sorry, it's not 250 million. That can't be right. Is that right? Holy fuck. No, that number can't be right. There's like 200 million white people in America, something like that,
sure.
Right?
Let's go with that. Somewhere between 200 and 250.
There's like,
they ain't all got health care, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's like 30 to 40 million of motherfuckers that's on some level of balling. Or living in a sitcom style life.
Right.
Okay.
Everything is groovy for about
fuck
40
it.
million.
Let's just jump it up and say it's 70 million of the motherfuckers. The other 130 is right here with us. Like the other 130 million is right here with us. And these motherfuckers and they the main ones pushing the shit. The crazy thing is, I hang out with the other group of white people. They're actually pretty cool. It's the poor motherfuckers.
Fascinating.
Hey,
the sweetest, kindest people you will ever meet. You know why? Because they don't have any natural predators.
Right.
They don't have to worry about a motherfucking thing. So every time you come around them, they offering you shit.
That's why I'm never that's why I'm never impressed when they show some like supermodel in her 50s who still looks amazing. It's like, yeah, she also married a billionaire. She's got access to every single thing in the book to keep her shit right.
Also, she has no stress.
I mean, yeah.
Everybody has some, like, life happens to everybody. You have people die, your family, you have pains, you have sorrows and stuff like that. But if you have $1 billion, it's way easier to handle them shit.
Yeah, Christy Brinkley's gonna be hot forever, okay? Christy Brinkley ain't gotta go nowhere.
I just want to point out one thing in everything that you guys are saying, and I do this every week, and I'm afraid to keep exposing this amount of realism. But we every time gotta look at that 200 to 400 year head start. Amazing things. We have been down in this country for a year. Did you see how employment plummeted in 1 year? Now you're gonna take a whole race of people and do this shit to them for 400 years? What they ultimately afraid of is if we treat you motherfuckers nice, we won't be running this shit no more.
Well, it is. That's the core of what we're talking about. Is like that's what I was saying when I was asking that question. When I was saying that, is it seems so weird to be in a place where, even though I still feel so far behind as a group of people, the interest in still trying to shove that, like how hard the work goes. I mean, they arrested Park Cannon, who's a state rep in Georgia, for knocking on this dude's door while six white dudes stood around another white dude and basically ended things like souls to the polls, giving out water in line. You can't give out water in line. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
But here's the thing, though. You think that's gonna stop black folks? What you're about to see is a bunch of motherfuckers with them walking coolers, and it's gonna be a barbecue grill in line, rolling with the, like, ain't nobody handing this shit out. I'm just cooking. If somebody comes over here and takes a hot dog, that's on them.
You're gonna see people selling shit for a penny. You know what I mean? We're gonna come by and be like, you got water for a penny.
And then it'll be one jar that says, take a penny, give a penny, and then you switch them.
Yeah, everybody's just gonna be like, boop.
What I'm saying, but dig this. That's why you can't treat them fair, because they always find a way around our bullshit. So we got to keep shitting on them harder. But just look at the energy that they displayed when they did it. Just like you said, those white men decided we gonna make it hard for you niggas to vote. And then when he said that, they had two fat white dudes waiting at the door just in case a couple niggas come up here. And one of them actually rolled her ass up there and she knocked on the door and they saying now that she kicked them. I ain't lying. These people have said that sister done kicked one of them big old heavy-faced white men that was dragging her. She wasn't even using her legs. They was carrying her.
To be clear, this is after an election in the state in which the Republicans, other than Kemp, who were in charge of making sure the election was run fairly, all said that the election was extremely fair. And there was nothing to be concerned about in the state, which would imply that there's no reason to make any new rules or any new laws because there is no fraud.
Hey, man.
Hey, Bobby.
I know better.
All right, but that law that they signed, you know what it did? It fired a lot of them niggas that said it wasn't that wrong with that election. I know. It literally instantly fired like 2 or 3 of those motherfuckers.
Not only did it do that, not only it put them in the position to change the vote, but even more than that, Brian Kemp was the Secretary of State before the dude who got the job now.
Brian Kemp.
They know exactly what's going on in these fucking elections.
Brian Kemp is now the governor. He was the Secretary of State when Stacey Abrams was running and was in charge of the election then.
And that's the only reason he won is because he fucked over her voters.
So check it out. These motherfuckers, like I hate what they're doing, but I give credit for playing a good hand when you play a good hand. You know, if you beat me at a hand of spades, I'm gonna give you props. Not only did they get this bullshit passed, but they did it in a way that even if they somebody already filed legal challenges, this is a Supreme Court case. This is a case that's definitely going to end up in the Supreme Court. There's no way it's going to stop before the Supreme Court. And because of that, it's going to take more than 2 years to get there. By the time it gets there, it's going to be either too close to the election to matter or more than 2 years to get to the Supreme Court. And therefore, it's going to be a moot point. Mm-hmm. Like Brian Kemp will have a chance to fucking tilt the polls, but unless they did the shit
changed by law.
If the federal law supersedes it, that'll change it. But they don't realize arresting that sister like that, dragging that sister out of there, who was doing she's a goddamn congresswoman. It's not just a sister. Not like she was just somebody walking by.
She was state
senator. State senator. I thought she was state congressman. State senator. State senator. Yo, like them motherfuckers that arrested her work for her. You know what I'm saying? They literally work. If they work in there in the Capitol, they work to protect her. And they did that bullshit
work for that motherfucker.
She wasn't attacking her.
You know who they work for?
No.
Shit.
I'm saying, I get your point. But if she was attacking him, well, you can't fucking. He deserves to get smacked out of him.
You know.
She knocked on the door, fam.
Come on now, dog. Come on now, you know what's going on.
They knew what they was doing. They knew what they was doing. Just like
that's some bull counter shit. That's like some shit that's like 60 years from now, when I'm at my great grandson's high school basketball game. That would be uploaded into the system by then. They're gonna be like, man, remember they did this racist shit, and they go show it's gonna look like it's gonna be in black and white because they always put racist shit in black and white. And I'm like, I was there. It was color. It was in color. That should be a non-fungible token. That should be able to be on the blockchain. It'll be on the 22nd century blockchain.
And I know what all that means.
Did y'all see what's going on in Evanston?
Yeah.
See what's happening in Evanston?
Reparations.
Yeah, man. The first set of reparations that I'm aware of is happening in Evanston right now. It's a pretty streamlined program. It is meant for, I think, homeowners. They're giving $25,000 to qualifying families of color, and an element of reparations to be used for home repairs. Just to try, they feel that, the home situation in Evanston is a big deal. It's a top priority in regards of like making sure that, there was a lot of housing discrimination that took place in Evanston between, I think, the early 1900s and 1970, which is, like everywhere else in this country. But Evanston is trying to make right about that. And there's a lot of Black families in Evanston that own homes. And so, they're giving them some money to be like, hey man, we're really sorry that letting people hear it before trying to keep y'all out.
Okay, I wonder if I bought a house in Evanston, could I get some dough after you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
How late to the game can I get to Evanston?
No, but this is some dope shit, because if you are a person, you're a black family or a black single person or whatever that has Evanston house buying dough, because let's face it, Evanston still mostly is pretty nice, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you got Evanston crib buying dough, because it's a grant. They're not gonna buy the whole crib for you. You got to buy the crib.
No, but then I could just have some more dough on top of what I got it.
So this is what I'm saying. Every single,
I just want dough.
Every single upwardly mobile, quote unquote, black person in Chicago is looking at Evanston like, damn. Because Hyde Park used to be Hyde Park and Oak Park. That's where the bougie black folks live. Right. And now Evanston's like trying to like, no. Come on out here.
Some of them black folks, hey man, I'm finna buy some shit in Evanston. I was thinking, me and Renee were just looking to buy some property back in Chicago for when I'm traveling, so I don't have to.
And I promise you, Oak Park is mad as fuck, and they finna try to top this shit. Oak Park is full of nothing but rich white folks that love black people. Like it's crazy. Like it's some awesome. Like you ever see like those white people that like they're in their 60s, late 60s, 70s. They got the super white hair, but they listen to jazz.
Hippies.
And then no, not hippies. Like these motherfuckers are well put together and shit. You know, they drive.
And the hippies didn't stay hippie. He ain't well put together.
But like that's just like Oak Park looks like what Hollywood tries to tell America what white people are supposed to look like. It's very, very PC. They're all very hip. They're on they all donate to NPR. They're good white people. They're the good white people.
Have y'all we've all seen Justice League, right?
Yes.
You've seen that's thank goodness I didn't have anywhere to be this week, I had all these days.
It took me 2 sittings, and it was 2 or 3 sittings.
I have a long history of having to watch a bunch of comic book stuff. I remember the original Justice League. The reason why he left, he had shot a bunch of shit, right? And a lot of it, the effects weren't done. There was still some more shit he was going to do, but his kid committed suicide and the dude had to walk away. Everybody's real shaky. No one's really clear. Like everybody is like, they always tread lightly around that, but like it makes the concept of it seem so much more fulfilling if you just go, yeah, man, the guy's daughter like offed herself, man. You got to like, can we have some empathy for the guy now that he walked away? Because when he walked away, they were just like, Zack Snyder's left the film for undisclosed family reasons. They never really like broke out what happened, and it took a while to get that information out. But anyway,
I can see keeping that private.
No, I get that. Yeah, I just mean like in the judgment of it, it made it, I think, a little bit harsher over his departure.
Oh yeah. When
that happened.
Fans are dicks, man.
Yeah, no shit, especially over this. This is the thing that drives
comic
people
book
crazy.
Fans are the worst, man. I'm one of them, and I'm the worst sometimes.
It's the movie I thought was better than the Whedon version for sure. The Whedon version, it looked like Joss Whedon came in and he saw what they had. And the storyline, I'll be honest, the storyline that Snyder has, like the general beats are not, until you get to all the extra exposition, the general story is similar to the first Avengers movie. It's not that much crazier, right? It's not that much far off. And I think Whedon came in and he kind of noticed that and was like, I'll change it up and make it softer and more kid-friendly. And that other than the opening sequence with Batman, the Whedon version was horseshit largely. The Snyder version is better, but man, there's so much shit in there that's unnecessary. That movie could have been 3.5 hours long, and don't get me wrong, I liked watching the extra shit because I'm a comic book nut, right?
Yeah.
But in like, oh, do I want to watch a bunch of scenes with Martian Manhunter in them? Sure, yeah, of course. Do I want to watch a crazy future sequence? Of course. Does it make the movie good? Not at all.
My favorite meme about that movie is somebody said Martian Manhunter, watch dude fight Steppenwolf, do all that shit, and then afterwards gonna come to Batman and be like, I got your back. Like, nigga, what? You saw all
Next
that shit.
time, bro.
Where was you at? You clearly got superpowers, my nigga. Like, where was you at?
Hey man.
Yeah.
Also, shout out, bro. I gotta do this one real quick. Shout out to my son.
Your son loves
I love shout out.
This is his joke. How has Martian Manhunter's name never caused an issue?
Nobody's upset about that.
Like,
that's the problem.
This nigga's name is Manhunter. Like,
and
nobody like. This seems like there should have been a follow-up question. Hey, can we talk about that Manhunter? Like, surreal.
You want me to change his name to Martian?
Not all
Manhunter.
It'd be like if James's last name was Nigga Killer. Hey, we gotta talk about that.
Well, funny story.
He is part Cherokee, so.
Hey, man, real quick. But this the thing that shows how well you take care of your kid. Because I know a bunch of dudes with names that are very questionable, murder and shit. You know,
we're like, you want me to change his name to Martian, not all Manhunter?
It's just like when he introduces himself, it's just like the dude just says it like. Yeah, it's group like, wait. Well, hold up, my nigga. You hunt men? Like, hey, come back here real quick. I gotta get some background on you. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, yeah, that the thing with Martian Manhunter being there and like only showing up to talk to Lois once and then show up at the end and be like, yo, man, next time some shit goes down, I'm there. That shit was silly. Also, there's a scene with Aquaman. Like, he has the first scene with Bruce, right? Where Bruce goes out there and they meet up and they talk and he's like, I don't want to join your fucking fight. I'm going to go jump in the water. And right? And that's like,
and the bitches sing.
Right, yeah. Wait, no. The bitches.
Oh, wait, that's a different.
Bruce is just chilling on the beach while homie just dives into the water. Man, just like a bat. I dig it. And he leaves, right? And then, like, later on, out of nowhere, there's just a scene that shows up where there's a dude on a boat and he's having a tough time with the seas. And all of a sudden this nigga's on top of the boat. Like, I got you, dog. And he takes him into there's just a scene out of nowhere. He takes him inside, gets a bottle and leaves. And these bitches sing and sniff a sweater while he goes back into the water. It serves zero purpose to the story other than being like, damn, Aquaman could fuck. Like, that's the only thing I got out there.
Aquaman got bitches.
He got Finnish hose or something, wherever the fuck he is. He got Iceland hose.
Hey, that shit had a real Midsummer vibe to me. I didn't dig it. I didn't like it. That shit, like, they gonna eat you, nigga. Get out of there. Like,
some good ass news though. DC looks to be on the turnaround. The new Suicide Squad trailer dropped today. That shit looks good as hell because James Gunn is doing it. Also, Black Adam is starting to film, which is The Rock's movie. Pierce Brosnan has been added to the movie to play Dr. Fate, which is going to be baller as fuck. I'm super excited about that. Speaking of The Rock, there's a big rumor that he's coming to Fortnite. They just had their season changeover like a week and a half ago. And there was a character in there that had a helmet on, but he's supposed to be guiding the main character. It's the whole storyline, but there's shit in there that's connected to it. And on the same day, Rock posted an Instagram post that also kind of led to a connection there also. So he's also got a show on NBC right now that's chronicling his whole life. I
haven't seen that yet. It looks funny.
It's really good.
It's pretty good, actually. It's pretty good. They jump back and forth throughout his life, which is pretty wild.
Man, and they blended perfectly.
The last two thing I wanted to give, I wanted to cover. What? Oh, well, I want to talk about this real quick, and then we'll get out of here on this other thing. The NCAA tournament is going on. It's been really weird this year because all the games are in Indiana. Ohio State, which was one of the many Big Ten teams who got knocked from the tournament. I learned another reason why I don't ever need to be in Ohio because dude got a bunch of death threats. EJ Liddell, who is their
I saw that on Twitter. Like, he posted on Twitter, like, what the fuck, man? He missed free throws, right?
Yeah, he missed some free throws down the stretch. And they sent a bunch of death threats to him.
I'm gonna tell you something. And this is something we'll talk off air later. I think we should do a whole show about this, like really dig into it because it's some crazy shit. The Supreme Court 2018 made betting legal, and dude, that shit's fucking up the country. Like, betting ads on sports games have replaced Viagra ads and shit. The shit is insane. It's bet all the time. That's why that vitriol was there. Those motherfuckers lost money and they were talking shit because it was a black dude. Like, because I initially thought, I was like, oh, it's some racist shit, and then I realized, like, that's a black dude. Yeah. I was like, and it was a black dude. That's 100% some gambling shit, my dude. There's no other reason to have like this.
I remember when fantasy football took off and pro football players started complaining about how people were coming up to them being like, man, you fucked me over on fantasy this week. And they're just like, look, man, I'm just trying to like, and that was not even for, that wasn't even for all the money. That was just one player who didn't play well in a fantasy game and one of your many. These guys, yeah, I agree. I think that could be part of the problem that's going on there.
I I don't gamble because I don't bet on sports.
Because I don't want to have to shoot a nigga.
No. I don't bet sports because
you fucked up.
I play sports and I was used to hang out with a gang of motherfucking athletes, and I know how very little, like some shit that you would not think would have anything to do with a motherfucker's basketball skills can fuck up their basketball skills. There's a dude that was a starting center for Indiana that he's out of the league. You know, he was like a dominant center. I can't think of his fucking name right now because the weed is kicking in. But he was a starting center for the Indiana Pacers, dominant. And he's out of the league because a teammate, I think it was Paul George, banged his side chick. It wasn't even his chick. It was his side chick. That nigga, his career was done. Literally 2 years later, he was out of the league. He
Bender,
never
right?
Was that
Bender?
No. It wasn't Bender. It was a big, ugly motherfucker. Big gorilla-looking motherfucker. The girl was fly, too. I feel like it began with a D. But it's... the dude did play for Georgetown.
Hibbert. Roy Hibbert.
Yes.
It was Roy Hibbert.
Roy Hibbert.
Yeah.
Roy Hibbert's career trash. If you look at his stats, literally right before that shit came out, this motherfucker was averaging double doubles, like 20 and 10, right? It was more than 10. It was like 20 points and like 14 rebounds. This motherfucker went from that to like 10 points and like 2 rebounds. He's 7-1. How the fuck you go down to like 2 rebounds? You 7-1, nigga, and huge. Like he'd make me look tiny.
In the women's NCAA tournament, it's come out from an Oregon player named Sedona Prince. She called out the weight room disparity, which led to an exposure of a bunch of other disparities between the men's and the women's game. And, you know, the truth is, you know, the women's game for sure probably doesn't make as much money as the men's game. I think that's a pretty easy thing to say. But also, like, they don't do a great job of trying to push the women's game either, right? Like it's kind of like a snake eating its own tail kind of a thing a little bit.
So Bobby, you know what? That was my initial thought too. However, the women's tournament is on ESPN, and my first thought was maybe they just sell it as part of the men's tournament, like you got to take the women's tournament, but it's a whole different network.
They don't even let them put NCAA tournament champion
and March Madness. So
they'll get to put any of that shit on their floor. None of that shit just looks like.
But my point in saying that is that there's enough of it that a network wants it, and they're paying for it, whatever they're fucking paying for it. Then that means there's enough to treat those women right. I played Division II basketball, but I played for a very good Division II school. Shout out St. Joe. And we used to get invited to those tournaments, like not the NCAA tournaments, but like holiday tournaments, like big schools. A lot of Ball State had a Christmas tournament, right, or Thanksgiving tournament, one of the two, I can't remember. But and they had schools from all over the country. We played South Carolina. We kicked South Carolina's ass, actually. Anyway, my point is this, dude. The swag that they gave us at that shit was magnificent. Like, it was a sweatsuit I think I stopped wearing 3 years ago. It was so dope. Like I got too fat for it. Like it was that dope. It was that dope.
Now your son wearing it.
Yeah. But my point is, and that was, I went to a Division II school, and I saw the swag bag that they had for the women's, and that like.
Them women are making them money, man. I don't understand what they say. Even without the advertising, with tying one hand behind their back, them women still making them money, and they could treat and it don't cost a lot to treat people better. It's based, especially
like they did the shit in one day. She called out the weight room, and they had the motherfucking weight room situation fixed in one day.
It wasn't like they couldn't. They just are getting away with what they can.
And not letting the women use the March Madness. What sense does that fucking make? And they gave them hysteria, which sounds sexist as fuck. Because that's what they used to call...
calling any type of women's activity something dealing with hysteria is not a thing. Yeah. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's such bullshit. And anybody who's like, yeah, watch the women's game. Fuck you. Watch the women's game. Matter of fact, now that Candace has come home, I cannot wait to go see the Chicago Sky play. I'm definitely going to games.
Well, that's the obvious difference of adding the WNBA. Like the way that the NBA supports the WNBA, you see like there's much more respect of that game, and they get treated a lot better. There's a lot of
anybody who's a true if you're really a basketball fan, you call yourself a basketball fan. You cannot be a basketball fan and not like the women's game. They are technically proficient at a level that the men's game is not. They have there's bitches that excuse me. Yeah, what the fuck I'm saying? Excuse me for. I'm talking positive. those bitches out there got handles. There's bitches out there they are wet from deep. Just like there's Steph Curry chicks out there, like they wet. Like the game is fun. Like the only difference is they don't dunk. And women hate to hear this, but I am a person who goes, I really do wish they take the rim down to 9 feet for y'all, because that shit. I do, dude. I know it was or 9.5.
No.
I want to see it. I want to see chicks coming.
But like. There was 50 years ago, guys weren't dunking like they're dunking now and now.
Yeah, I didn't watch basketball then. I wasn't born yet.
Just wait. They'll get there. X, are you anywhere this week? You chilling at the crib? You waiting out this fucking next shot? What's going on with you?
No, man. I'm holding down the fort, waiting out this next shot. I'm gonna go see the homie Allie K. She gonna tighten up my my locks. But other than that, I'm in the fort.
Rob, what you doing, man?
I got a bunch of crap going on. I'm going on tour. I start on the 24th of April. And I do like a week, and then another couple of dates are starting to come in. But that's the first week, and I'll be in Texas. I'll be in Austin.
Nice.
I'll put the dates up. We'll get it up. We'll get the information up to you.
Where can they find you?
You can find me at that tour based on the comedy show that I am the. It's called Lockdown.
Nice.
So we supporting that.
Nice. XL, where can they find you?
At XL Comedy, at XLCOMEDY.
Nice. You can catch me on Fortnite. You can catch the New OGs at New OGs Pod. Catch People of Comedy at People of Comedy and People of Comedy Network on Twitter and IG. Catch us here next Friday. We'll be back here with another fun episode. Thank you for kicking it with us. That's it.
I'm XL Comedy FIFA 21. Anybody want some money? Get fucked up.
That's it. We're out of here. That's what's up.
Ballin', engine louder than T-Pain. When I started. Fuck your bitch, now she get attachment. She keep calling. High school, you was that nigga. Now you falling. I'ma zigzag through the gang like I'm smoking on trees.